Obviously, James Gunn has been big in the news in the world of movies lately. He is the new head of a brand new studio, of a DC studio under Warner Brothers, something DC's never had, their own dedicated studio. And he and his partner, Peter Safran, are now the de facto Kevin Feige's of the DCU. Now, they're coming out of the gate in 2025 with Superman Legacy, a movie that goes into production pretty shortly here. The casting's been all done. But one of the big questions that have been going around, well, a couple of big questions. Number one is, we knew a Supergirl was coming, so who's going to be that Supergirl? Number two, where is the follow-up to the most popular and successful superhero TV show of all time, Peacemaker? I'm not saying the best superhero show of all time, but probably the most popular, the most viewed one, Peacemaker. Where is it? James Gunn got on Threads. That's his kind of social media platform of choice now, where he interacts with his fans daily on a couple of things. Number one, a fan asked him, how's development coming on Peacemaker Season 2? To which he said he is now halfway through writing episode 8, which is the final episode. So the script writing, he said, and it's a banger. He said it's really a banger. Of course, he's talking about a script he's writing himself, so take that with a grain of salt. But it sounds like the script is just about complete. If he's into the last episode already, almost done, hopefully sometime soon we'll get some kind of word on when season 2 of If You Really Want It, If You Really... When's that going to come? When are we going to get a season 2? All right. Then the question moved on to the issue of Batman. Because despite the fact that James Gunn has kind of hinted and implied several times that we're going to have to wait a little bit for Batman, there's still been a lot of speculation that Batman may indeed show up in Superman Legacy. And I get it, because it seems like we're getting a lot of people in Superman Legacy, right? So are they going to pull the old DC model of having Batman and Superman kind of in the same movie right out of the gate? Well, James Gunn has now put that to bed a couple of days ago when one of his fans wrote to him, why can't Batman appear in Superman Legacy? And can we see Batman in some other projects before his own film? To which James Gunn simply said, well, he can't appear in Superman Legacy because he's not in the script. Very direct. Just like he's been getting more and more direct lately, because yesterday we talked on the show about somebody who's asking about the reports going around that Matt Reeves's Robert Pattinson's Batman 2 has been canceled. And somebody asked him on Threads, oh, this is going around. Has this been canceled? One word answer, no. Has not been canceled, with an eye rolling emoji. He's been getting kind of short and sweet. Rob, I know how most people, including you and I, feel that while I liked Batman versus Superman, it was a mistake to have Batman first introduced in this universe with a Superman film
agree.
under the circumstances that movie was happening in. Is there an argument to be made, though, that James Gunn has already let us all know when the DCU, this not the DCEU, but this new DC universe starts, we are joining it already in progress, right? Superheroes are already a part of the world, right? We are entering into a universe where superheroes are here, have been around for a while, all that kind of stuff. And we're being introduced to this universe. Different situation, different context than, say, the old DCEU was. Is there an argument to be made that there might be some benefit to actually introducing a Batman in this? I mean, clearly he's not going to be there, but could there be an upside to this? Or does James Gunn absolutely taking the right approach here to save him till later?
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Fume. Quitting cold turkey is great in theory, but you and I both know it's way more difficult than that. And that's why there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some fake online promises. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. And they look at the problem in a different way. Instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavor-air device that does just that. See, instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. I personally didn't know what to expect when I first got my Fume. I mean, I've never liked vapes, but my goodness, the taste. The first time I tried it, I was completely sold on it. It was incredible. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use the code CAMPEA to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use the code CAMPEA to save an additional 10% off your order today.
I think he's absolutely taking the right approach. I mean, this is going to seem strange, sort of, to some people, but I think that what James Gunn is doing, he's obviously a huge fan of 80s DC. And in 80s DC, they famously had the DC universe had become so convoluted, people couldn't jump in. It was difficult to understand, so they had Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I loved. You know, they took all the DC multiverse and they collapsed it into one Earth. And they basically rebooted all their big characters. George Perez came on and did Wonder Woman, and they leaned into the mythology of it all. And then John Byrne took over Superman, and they did that. I think James Gunn is thinking about the DC EU as post-crisis DC in the 80s. And they're going back. Some of the comics were rebooted from the beginning. And that, like, Superman's powers are being redefined by John Byrne. His relationship with Lex Luthor was different. And Wonder Woman went more back into the Greek gods and all that. I think he's looking at that as the way to go. Not to emulate what went on in the comics themselves, but the idea was, okay, this one universe went away. It's still DC, but they had to start again. You know, and they had to start again. He knows the audience will go with him. What he has to do with Superman Legacy is to say, this tone is now totally different. We are now starting from scratch, and it's a very different thing than you're used to. So what he's going to do is present whatever that tone is and whatever he's set up moving forward. That's not to say a Batman movie can't have a different tone, but it's going to be a different, the foundational philosophy behind what he's going to do is different. Now, the thing is, Batman's probably going to have a different tone. He doesn't want to put, if you put Batman in a movie that has a Superman tone, then your Batman could be compromised. And I think that he doesn't want to do that. He still wants Batman to be the Dark Knight detective, or, you know, the Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams Batman of the 70s, or whatever he's going to do. But if you put Superman and Batman conflicting with that tone in the same movie, I think it denigrates or makes it more difficult to pull off. And you can't, I think he has a clear vision of this. I still think it goes back to a Superman for all seasons. And I think we're going to get something new, fresh, classic. And I'm really excited for what James Gunn has in store, because I think he really knows what he's doing. Because if he didn't, they wouldn't be so gung-ho about it. I think he really knows. I think he has a clear head. I think everything that he's ever made is leading up to this, and I'm expecting a banger of a Superman movie. Indeed, I expect, John, the best Superman movie ever made.
Whoa, that's a
Because
tall order.
if it's not, he's failed.
I disagree. That's like saying if anybody makes a crime movie,
You
and
were
it's not
going
as good
really-
as The Godfather.
No,
they
no,
fail.
but it has to be.
don't think
Because
it has
he's
to
not only does he have to make the best Superman movie, he has to establish a brand new universe. If it doesn't work, if it isn't the greatest, or at least approaches the greatest Superman movie ever made,
I'll go with you on that.
there's too much riding on this.
Oh, 100%. And again, we've said on this show, right, Rob, that not to add any more undue pressure onto James Gunn, who of course watches this show daily. Not to put any undue pressure on James, but it's like there's never been a more important Superman movie.
Right. Okay.
Because-
I'll give you an analogy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Godfather. It has to be Goodfellas.
I'll go with you on that. Because not only every movie needs to be good, right? But and it's unfair, but it is the way it is, kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes life's
Yeah,
not fair. He's got to establish a brand new universe. Not just make a movie good for its own sake, but make it so good that it makes people excited for what's to follow.
Yes.
And it has to be good enough to wash away the bad taste out of people's mouths for the past number of years for the other stuff that's come out, right?
And get comic audiences back that the DC characters have not been able to get over the last, other than Aquaman crossing 400 million. And look what he's introducing. He's introducing Green Lantern. He's introducing Supergirl. He's introducing Lois. He's introducing Jimmy Olsen, and he's introducing
Authority.
Lex. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I do want to point one thing out. I see a lot of people, it's become a kind of the trendy thing to say. I've been seeing a number of people in our live chat saying things like, people are tired of Batman. People need a break from Batman, blah, blah. Really? Because they just put out a Batman movie not long ago, and it doubled what any other DC movie did at the box office in the past 5 years. You take all the last 8 or 9 movies that the DCU put out, and that one little Batman that you're saying people are over did almost double what any of them did, making almost $800 million.
People love Batman.
I would say objectively, the notion that people want a break from Batman is objectively wrong. I think the last movie proved it. People are willing, even with Twilight Boy playing the role, people are willing to flock out to the theaters if you make a good Batman movie. And I think that kind of proves the point.
You're 100% right. A good Batman movie, every generation loves Batman. You got Batman watchers going all the way back to the 60s with Burt Ward and Adam West. And people have been watching Batman their whole lives. And you give people, like, look, Twilight Boy, Batman, no one thought that was going to work. No one
We
thought
knew
that
it would work.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was
Twilight Boy.
Matt Reeves delivered. And by the way, Twilight Boy deserves, I mean, he was one of the best things about Tenet. He's got
for sure.
he's got a great
Yep.
indie career. I think Pattinson
Dude, the
is a
Rover,
great
come
actor.
on. As soon as I saw the Rover, I'm like, this guy's amazing.
The Rover, he was great in that.
Good time. Like, it's just, he's
Good time.
a really great,
He's great.
he's a great actor.
And going back to James Gunn, he knew what he signed up for, right?
Yes.
Not how important this Superman movie is, but the trailer. The first trailer is just as important to get everyone on
That
board.
exists. a
They
lot.
are going to have to spend months and months on that first trailer. Because it will not be as important as not the Force Awakens, I'm sorry, as the Phantom Menace trailer. That's probably the single most important pivotal trailer in the history of movie trailers. But this first trailer for Superman Legacy has got to kill it on every level.
Yeah. But I would also say one of the really interesting things about this film, and I think people forget, is how long he's taken to cast it. He has tested people. He has brought people in. He's been casting this movie for months. I don't think there's been a movie that's been made. I can't remember the last time a movie has been made where they've spent this long casting the film. And when has James Gunn ever let us down?
Never yet.
Slither, Super, 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. These are all wildly entertaining movies. You might not dig all of those, but I mean, come on. I own all those movies. He's done and I own his novel, The Toy Collector. So I'm a huge James Gunn fan from way back. He's never let me down.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.